You can offer your vibration intentionally. The key to being deliberate and having control over your point of attraction. Ooh, we love those words. Control over your point of attraction. You creating your own reality. You deciding what you want, and you setting the tone, and you practicing the tone, and you emitting the frequency deliberately, and you noticing what's coming in response to your deliberate offering of vibration. It just doesn't get any better than that. When you sync up with the source within you, when you sync up with all that you've been asking for, when you sync up with all that you have become, all that you have decided that you want, and all that you have already vibrationally become, that's when it gets a little dicey for some. You've already vibrationally become the vibrational version of every desire that this time-space reality has helped you to figure out. But sometimes you're not living it. Sometimes you can't yet see it. You can't hear it. You can't smell it or taste it or touch it. And you say, yeah, Abraham, there's not that much satisfaction, in the vibrational version of things. And we say, but if you'll hang in there in satisfaction for the good feeling that you found when you focus upon what you want to be, what you want to be must be realized completely by you. And the only reason that sometimes you don't think it's going to be, or that it isn't yet, is because you're so aware of its absence that you block its presence from your realization. A few seminars ago, Esther and Sandy were moving around in the back hallways of the hotel. Esther calls it the belly of the whale. She loves being back there. They are so efficient and all different and very confusing. And Sandy goes ahead the night before with arrows, bright pink arrows, and she sticks them on the wall to mark Esther's path so that Esther won't have to roam around with you out in the... She likes that too. And so Esther is making her way with Sandy. They're following the arrows, and it's in a particularly confusing place. But they made their way back. They were having a very good time. And when they got to the back door to come into the room, the door was locked. So close and yet so far. And Esther laughed because they had plenty of time, and Sandy went scurrying off, mad at herself a little bit because the door was locked. It hadn't been the night before, but someone had been very efficient and locked it up, and so they couldn't get in. And as Sandy was going to find someone, two women walked around the corner, and Esther said, "Do you happen to have a key to this room?" And one of them smiled and pulled it from her pocket and opened the door. And Esther was able to holler at Sandy so she didn't get too far away. We're in, we've made it in. We want you to realize that right around the corner is everything you want. The key to every closed door really is right around the corner. But you got to be in the place of allowing that to happen. There is always someone walking right around the corner with the key. Always, 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 always. But if you are in a bad mood, if you are disappointed in yourself or others, if you are feeling guilty or worried about something, if you've been beating the drum of injustice, if you've been practicing a frequency that translates right away into the manifestation of negative emotion, did you hear how clever that was? Translates into the manifestation of negative emotion, as opposed to translating into the manifestation of positive emotion. The emotions that you feel are the first translation. They are the first manifestation. It's the first evidence of being in the place where more of what you're wanting is coming. You are magnificent creators, and life is supposed to be good for you. And you are supposed to manifest in real terms everything that you want. You are. That's what you signed on for. And you've been banging around in this physical experience, and you have come to many conclusions that are yours personally and that are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things for you to want. It is our desire that you begin immediately to realize more of them, because there's just no excuse anymore not to. You know too much. You have the tools. You know about law of attraction. Law of attraction says you get what you think about. You know that you live in a vibrational universe, and you are understanding that you are emitting a vibration, and you know that your emotions let you know how you're doing with that. Your emotions are your indicator between the frequency of who you've really become with all of the desires that you've launched and who you're allowing yourself to be right here, right now. So what we're really talking about all day, every day, in terms of the effectiveness of your personal creation, in terms of the effectiveness of you getting what you want and fulfilling your purpose and living your dreams and living happily ever after in the way that you intend to. The ratio, the thing that we're talking about all the time, is the relationship between what you want and what you believe about it. What you want and what you believe about it. So if you want prosperity and you are so happy whenever you see someone who is living a prosperous life, then there's no discordance in your frequency. You're not introducing resistance. You are in perfect sync with your desire, and it's going to come right around the corner. But if you are seeking prosperity and you feel concerned about those who have already got it, if you feel envious about their success or angry at them for getting there first, or mad at yourself for not yet being there, those negative emotions are your indicator that there is a vibrational variance between your desire and your practice thought, and you just can't get there from there. You've got to change your frequency. You can't walk into a different room. You can't hang around with different people. It isn't about the action. You can't even get a different job. You can't even line up different ways for money to come to you. If you don't change the vibrational frequency, the doors are going to keep being locked. You're going to be walking down hallway after hallway after hallway, complaining longer and longer and louder as you go further and further into the depths of the belly of the well that won't yield to you what you want. But when you figure it out, that you can change the frequency, not all at once, it takes a little practice. You can't just all of a sudden start believing something that you haven't been believing, because a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. And the reason that a belief is a thought that you keep thinking is because law of attraction causes a momentum about the thought that you keep thinking. So you think the thought, and law of attraction brings you another thought like it, which then you notice. And now you're thinking about that too. So you're launching these rockets of desire, which are literally, we are not kidding you about this at all. It's literal to us because we can sense them on every level. It's not literal to you yet because you can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. But it is a vibrational reality. We've been calling it your vortex of attraction. And it is the sum of all that you've become. But you've been adding to it and adding to it and adding it to it. And there is a vibrational version of you that you can allow completely when you release your resistance. So it's all about vibration, and that it's much easier than you have been allowing it to be for yourself. And that from this point forward, within about 30 days of just paying attention to the way you feel, you can get a whole different vibrational set point going on, which means you're going to be different in this world to every relationship that you have with everything than you have ever been before. Because you're going to begin to offer different vibrational frequencies, which means your point of attraction is going to yield different things to you. There's just one thing that we want to say to you at the beginning of this. And this is a sort of, to help you to recognize that none of these words are really helpful to you at all unless something that you are living matches up with these words. So many of the things that you will hear from us today, you will feel resonance with them because the source within you knows them, and because your belief system is not in such opposition to them, you're allowing that knowing to flow through. When you feel true resonance with something, that means no resistance, and the whole of you is having this moment. But some things will challenge a little bit because you don't believe them yet. You don't believe in your prosperity as we know from seeing your vortex. You don't believe in your abundance of all things that you want in the way that we do. And so it's going to take some life experience that's going to help you to understand that. But here's how it works. When you think on purpose and then life experience delivers the results that you thought you would get from thinking on purpose, that is the best living that you can live. That's the best understanding that you can get, you see. So the way that things move or become from an idea, from a vibrational reality into something that you are realizing is that you have to tune your frequency to the realization of it. Now we know you didn't want to hear that, but we needed to tell you that. You are the realizers. That's the best word that Esther can find. That's how manifestations occur. You realize them. You realize them by finding a frequency. And at first when you find it, it feels weird to you. Maybe it feels a little exciting for a moment. In fact, that's a moment of recognizing the full potential of your desire. You feel exhilarated about it for a moment. But if you don't shoot it in the foot, if you don't wrestle it to the ground and kill it with reality, if you don't but it to death, but what about this? What about this? Esther said to us in the beginning, Abraham, it's true. This thing that I know that you don't want me to talk about is a true thing. Don't you think that I should at least acknowledge that it is a true thing? And we said, there are all kinds of things in this world that are true that you want to live. And there are all kinds of things that are true in this world that you don't want to live. We would let whether you want to live them or not be the criteria for whether you give your attention to them. But Abraham, Esther said, it's such a big world and there are so many things out there. Am I supposed to put my head in the sand? We said, yes, and meditate. Am I supposed to put my head in the sand and just pretend that those things aren't happening? And we say, you have choice in all of that. Just know that when you give your attention to things, momentum ensues. And eventually, you can create a belief that is so strong that it will become your reality. You can also create a desire that is so strong that it can become your reality. So what's happening to you? What really happens? What makes the difference? Is your belief so strong or is your desire so strong? How does that play out? And we say, law of attraction gives you the exact balance that you've got going on. But today we want to say to you, it's so much easier if when you wake up in the morning, you just say to yourself, I could be wobble free. I'm wobble free for now. I'm wobble free. I don't have to bring into this day the things that were bothering me yesterday. I don't have to do, there it is. I brought it in already. When we first started talking to Esther about this, she didn't make it till breakfast before she was wobbling all over the place. Because you got lots to think about and you've got these practiced thoughts. And we don't want you to be hard on yourself about beliefs that aren't serving you. But we do want you to be aware of what beliefs you have that serve you and what beliefs that don't. Esther will find herself moving through a day and all of a sudden she'll find herself not feeling so good. Sort of this subtle feeling of discomfort. And she will stop now and say, I just uncovered something that I apparently have been thinking about long enough that it surfaced just now. What was I just thinking about that gave me that funny feeling in my stomach? Because when that happens, that's a little piece of resistance that is showing itself to you. And we're not really encouraging that you sit down right then and try to talk yourself out of it because you will only add momentum to it. But recognizing it and then at first opportunity, identifying what it is that you do want relative to that. And then the next day, start out thinking about what you do want. You will really be pleased with how quickly you can shift the vibrational frequency of your habits of thought. You can change your beliefs. Your beliefs are only thoughts that you keep thinking. And you don't have to continue to think unhelpful beliefs. Esther will say, well, that was unpleasant and unnecessary. Unnecessary, unpleasant, and unnecessary. So what we're really saying to you is, it is our powerful desire that you love yourselves as we love you, enough that you are willing to stop torturing yourself with unpleasant thoughts, that you will stop accepting negative emotion as just the way life has to be. You say things like, these are hard times. They are not hard times. You say things like, the economy's bad. The economy is not bad. Economy is an individual thing, and there are those who are thriving. Might as well be you.